stream's coming, new stream's coming. Bear with me. What happened? Sony Vegas shut my computer down for some reason, or semi-shut it down. Just started shutting the apps down. Putting the link in here now. There you go. Link.
What happened to the old stream, Paul?
The thing is shut down. I was doing Sony Vegas. I was doing Sandy's intro, and it must have been using too much of the CPU. Rendering it. And it just started crashing apps. Obviously, it crashed the Hangout app. Well, yeah, but I don't know why. It just shut down.
Yeah, it shouldn't have shut down. It should have just...
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to carry on, but it didn't.
Yeah.
I think they're still chatting away in there, the rest of them. Right, so...
Are they really? Right. Let me go back over there and see what they're doing.
Yeah. Right, Sandy, I'm going to send it, I've actually done it. Are you there, Woody? Yeah.
Yeah, mate. They're all still chatting away in the other one.
I thought there would be. I said the link's there now, so they might as well jump on here. There was 20 odd people watching on that then.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even notice you had gone.
I'm gonna log back in. I think I still have the link. So I'm gonna log back in and say, "Hey, mate."
Oi, geezers. We're on another chat.
Oh, they're still there.
Yeah, they're still waffling away.
Hey guys. You know the stream is off air. Like Paul made a mistake. Yeah, he started another one. So I don't know if you guys are gonna jump over.
Oh, we didn't know that.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Right.
Hey, Reefing with what calendar are you using on your lights?
What color?
Oh, just tell him stop chatting and get on the stream.
It for my Kessels or what for my T5s?
Oh, that's right. You got that combo unit.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
He could probably tell you about his Kessels. Because I think that has a color spectrum on it, right?
50-50 with the Kessels. 50-50.
50-50. So you're running basically a 20K light then.
No, probably not that. Yeah.
50-50 on the Kessel is kind of like a 20K light, and then if you go up to 100%, it's a 10K light, and then when you go down to 0% color, you're basically doing blue actinics only.
Probably. I wouldn't say 20 fully. I would say maybe 18-ish, 17-ish, 18-ish. Yeah.
So,
hey, Narcosis, I'm in the other stream. I'm in the other stream. Okay. Yeah, I'll see you in the other.
Yeah, we can hear you. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. He never stops talking. That's what it is with him.
That's why no one noticed. He was just waffling away, and no one noticed.
Yeah, I had to tell him I was going to leave. Otherwise, I was going to answer another question on another one.
Yeah.
Paul,
right, sorry, Woody. Say again.
Your subs have gone down a bit.
It happens all the time. No, they'll go back up later.
Yeah, it was 9:15 earlier.
Yeah, he does it all the time. It goes up and down. Like the other day, Michael, when he put it on, I got 40 odd subs. Then it dropped 40 odd, but then they went back up.
You got 40? I didn't get 40. I got like 5.
No, I got 40. I got 40 when Michael did his video. Yeah.
You don't feel so bad. I got about
when he had us on the chat.
Yeah.
Man, you were 900 already again, though.
Yeah, I know.
It went down to 899 or something like that.
See what happens when you make videos. Like, you don't make a lot of videos, but you see what happens. You just make some simple videos and it goes up.
It pulls all about the live streams.
Yeah, of course, videos pull way better than the live stream.
What? It went down to 899?
Yeah, 899. And as we come over to this one, it's gone up to 901.
Yeah, well, I checked with Michael the other day. Like, it went up to, it was about 840. And a couple of hours later, it went down to 800. Yeah, I went on the internet finding out, and it says Google when you get so many, well, sometimes if you get so many, they'll drop them. They'll check how much of the video they've watched. And if they've watched under something like 30 seconds, they can actually remove them from the sub.
Well,
they'll still be sub to, yeah, but they'll still be sub to you, but they won't go into your account.
Yeah, well, and also they want to see if it's bot accounts. Like if someone registered new and then subbed, you know, like they want to wait and see.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it on Reddit. Like people offer it to me all the time. They're like, "Hey, we have aged accounts," and they'll be like, "So people create accounts on Reddit and leave them and comment and leave them and age them for like a year before they try to sell them to you."
What's Reddit?
Or Reddit is like another social media site where people share stuff.
Nah, never heard of it.
No, but they do the same thing with Facebook. They're like, well, not Facebook, because Facebook has way.
There you go. I've just got another sub there. So I've got another sub now.
Yeah.
So has it gone on?
No, it still says 901.
Yeah, and it's just popped up on my screen that sub.
Yeah, they do it. Oh, there goes the neighborhood. 902. Boom.
What were you saying, Al?
What's that?
You were saying about Reddit, oh?
No, I was saying people offer me so I work in digital marketing, so I'll get emails all the time where people will say, "Hey, I have aged accounts, you know, like ready, like if you want me to get something trending for you, I have aged accounts." I think it's hard to do on Facebook now because Facebook has ways of verifying your real name. But and I get the same thing with YouTube. Like we can do YouTube subs and we can get it in whatever category you want. Just give us a few months. So they're creating accounts, subbing other related channels, like commenting, making them seem like a real person or whatever, and then they'll, you know, sub you up.
Hey, can I ask you something? I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's a sincere question. I'm trying to start a small foundation here in I'm in the Philippines here, right? I'm trying to start a small foundation to replant coral, and I'm trying to, as we were talking about, like get some attention for that, like get some publicity for that. So I don't know. What do you think of that? Like, is that?
Listen, I think it's something well worth doing. When I was in college, I was involved in a group called SIFE. I think they changed the name now to Enactus. ENACTUS. So basically, it's college kids in the US and the world who go together to do community service projects all over the world. You'll find them in chapters all over the country, but you have some really I'm not going to say rich teams, but you have teams in the US that get sponsored by company. So I'll tell you the premise. The premise is that college students do, like community service projects. And, the thing is they gain experience, and the same companies who sponsor them, they get to hire like the best and the brightest when they graduate from college. So imagine if you're let's say a big company in the US, and you have a student who you've worked with for 3 years, you've given them money, and they present you a report that said, hey, you give us $10,000 and here's, we went to Africa, we did this, we did project, you'd more likely to hire that person because they have some experience. So I was involved in this when I was in college and years after I graduated. So if you're really serious and you have like a thought out plan, I would say first, try to draft something. And second, reach out to this organization and kind of tell them what you're trying to do and tell them someone recommended SIFE, and, they'll put you in touch with if you go on the Enactus, ENACTUS.org, there's a section that says what we do on project stories. And you can see like some of the amazing projects that like some of these students do all over the world. Like, so, if it's something you really want to do, this would be the first place I would absolutely, look.
I'm on there now. I'm just listening to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this would be the first place that I would look, because the kids here are motivated, because at the end of the year, like they put on this huge like in Missouri every year they put on this huge like competition where the kids get to present their projects and the best ones are judged and they win money and their schools get a lot of prizes. So you hate to say there's a competition aspect to it, but it leads to some awesome projects. So, you know, so if you find a school that's doing something better, like another school is going to try and one up them next year. So, I mean, when I first joined it, I was like, what the hell is this? Like community service projects with like a competition aspect. But what happens is it gets the kids really motivated and really like they take this really serious. So yeah, I won like a couple nationals when I was involved in it. I love it. I think it's awesome. And then you have like a World Cup.
How does this help me? Like I'm looking at the Philippines part, like this is where we work, and I'm just looking at where it says Enactus in the Philippines. Like how would I would enlist their help, or these are volunteers, or like
you would need like a basic plan of what you're trying to do. So here's your plan would be, hey, the reefs are struggling, you know, and maybe you'll talk to someone to come up with a plan that says, hey, because the reefs are struggling, the fishermen aren't catching enough fish, they're losing money, like, you know, all these things. And you for one, you just told me the other day how when the tide goes out, like the people are so poor that they rush out to get the hermit crabs to eat them. I think you told me that the other day.
Yeah, we were talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, so the SIFE team would come in and probably work with you and say, hey, like, it's poor here, it's abstract poverty. What kind of projects, what kind of community service projects we can do to help give these people's jobs while still rebuilding the reef? I don't know what these kids can come up with. But like I said, if you read some of the projects they do on the Taking Action or What We Do page, you know, like imagine one of those projects was done in, you know, in the Philippines with like an aspect focusing on the reef or something. I don't know.
Okay, so
you listen, you would have to think that you'd have to put some thought into this. Like if you go to the school, if you go to these kids, like I tell you, these kids' time are valuable. So if you go to them and say, oh, I just want to do a project that just helps the reef, like, you know, like you have to go to them with more than that. Like you have to have something that's well thought out first, or at least have the framework for a plan that says, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's the resources I have. Here's where I need help. Like, you know, you'd have to have a plan somewhat. You can't just go and say, oh, I want to save the reef.
So they want to, they'll help put a plan together, or they'll help with manpower.
They'll help with manpower. If you need help raising money, they'll come there to help you train. They also have connections with other NGOs that'll come in and help you. So it's sort of like whatever you need, but
I see.
You know, yeah, it's sort of whatever you need. If you need help raising money, if you need help with manpower, if you need help getting people jobs, if you need help, you know, it's whatever you need. They're willing to get their hands dirty and do like whatever you need.
Well, definitely
something like a volunteering community that will help the guy that wants to do something that's important.
Yeah, they will. You know? But like I said, like they are, I wouldn't go to them and just say, you know, like I want to save the reefs. Like it needs to be more, you'd have to put more thought into this, because you can imagine like there is people writing them from Africa and say, hey, come help my village. So their times are, you know, their time is really valuable. So you have to put more thought into it and say, you know,
no,
like
I'm very organized. So I'm not. It wouldn't be just a superficial request, but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and I just never heard of Enactus, and I wanted to know what they are offering, just like the quick version of what they're offering. I'm on the site here. I'm gonna probably you know, delve into this and see what, you know, see if this could be helpful for me. But it sounds very promising, and like thanks for turning me on to that.
Yeah, if you need any help when you're ready and you're really serious, like I still have a lot of friends that work there and still have connections with some schools. So if at the point where you're ready, you need like an introduction to someone high up the food chain, I can make that introduction for you. Like I'm telling you, I used to be very involved in this. I used to travel all over the place and do projects with this. Like this was fun. And for probably it was only until I had kids, like my son became like 4 or 5 and I couldn't travel and leave him, like that's when I stopped doing this. But yeah, absolutely. Like I was involved in my school at the time, my college, my alma mater. Yeah, we were involved in this a lot. The kids would travel around and do projects in Ghana. They went and they built wind farms in Ghana, developed like clean water in Kenya, like a lot of things they
Oh,
did.
that's nice. Let me look at this, and we're always around, so I'll probably speak about this my progress again, like what kind of progress I've made. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, let me look at this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, on some of the project pages on the website, like yeah, you can read. Like I'm reading one now about, they went to Ghana and helped hair salons, help them create some mobile labs to like do hair. But yeah, so you can see where the kids see the opportunity, how they take action, how they organize co-ops, like yeah. So you can get an example of like how they work and what they do.
Well, I've already put a lot of research into what I'm doing. Like I pretty much on the down low, I've gone to see the actual guys that do the fishing for the ornamental fish trade. I've seen many, maybe probably, I'm thinking all, but more probably close to all of the exporters here in the Philippines. Um, and Yeah, I've done a lot of research into what's actually happening because the people here, like, it's no point. There's no point. I'm not going to come here and first of all, I'm not going to come here and change something, right? So I've got to. I think my strategy would be more like just to let you, just to shoot the shit a little and let you know where my head is at. I think that it's like pick a small place and see how it works when you're actually on the ground and doing what you're doing, and then see what doesn't work and what does. And but always the people, like, what the other side of it is that the people that live here, also need some place to they need some place, they need to make money, and they need to subsist, they need to exist, they need their lives to continue. So why am I saying that? Because let's say you replanted mangrove, because mangrove is very important. Seagrass, mangrove, it's all very important for the ecology. But let's say you replant mangrove. They don't like it because it stops them from, let's say, putting their boats in the water. It's not as simple as that, but let's give that as an example. For some reason, they don't like it.
Gotcha.
So they're going to tear it out. You know what I mean? So what's the point of doing something if somebody's just going to come along and tear it out after?
Now let me ask you something. Years ago, what we did in Bangladesh, like this is one of the projects, like I didn't travel, but one of the projects we did in Bangladesh, this was probably like 2004, 2005. But we did a project where I forgot the name of the place in Bangladesh, but we actually had someone fly over there and taught the guys how to aquaculture fish, like rare fish. Like they were close to a river. And, like these guys never knew about, they're like, oh yeah, we know you can catch fish in the river, but we didn't know you can, like basically farm fish. So you basically created like a little community where they would farm fish. So, are you thinking along the same thing? Like maybe you can go in and do like some sort of aquaculture where the guys don't need to go out and
the scope. I hear what you're saying. The scope is huge. It's huge. Let me give you just a 30-second overview. Like first of all, you have no, in the West, you have, maybe you do, but most people in the West have no idea. I will take some video of, maybe get some video of how people, they call them actually, like, not to be negative, but they call them squatters here. It's people with basically no land. They don't, transient people with no, with nothing, and they'll erect some kind of hut out of makeshift material that they find on wherever they find it, and they'll live on they'll squat on a land that doesn't belong to them. And there's many people doing that. There's like thousands of people doing that along the seashore or wherever, where there's some abandoned land that nobody is, ushering them off the land. If they're not bothered, they'll just stay there and make a home there. And so it's down to it's not trying to kick them off there. It's trying to help them in the sense that, for example, they need clean water. They need power. They need to improve their lifestyle, So, I mean, if you try to do a project and it upsets people, it's not going to work. You need to help, and they'll help you with their project, right? If you come in a negative way, so it's like solar power, it's water filtration. What we're doing, basically a larger operation than what we're doing at home for our Reef system with our ODI water, but on a grander scale because there's no clean water here. The fresh water is not drinkable, so it needs to be clean. You see what I mean? There's a social infrastructure in terms of what's available to them, like even their housing. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Even that's an aside aspect to actually making the project in the ocean. Let's say coral replanting or whatever you're doing. That's an aside, because if you, like, let's say you go and put something in the ocean, you put a cement core down in the ocean and you start planting coral on it. They'll go out and they'll try to fish whatever they fish with their nets, and they'll go step on that, right? And they'll break everything that you just did, all the good that you just did. They'll break it down in one day because it's based on whatever they need to live, or it's based on ignorance. They don't know what they're doing. So you need to work with those people, and there's a kind of education that needs to be done, and they don't realize, they may or may not realize that farming the ocean is better than just taking out of the ocean. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
There's a whole scope to it. Like there's solar power. There's water, fresh water for them to drink. There's their housing, clean housing. There's also the project in the water going on, like in the ocean, replanting the coral, the seagrass, cleaning up the beach. Actually, just cleaning up the beach, where all the garbage is collecting on the beach.
That's like a multifaceted project. So I mean, my experience.
So you have to know how to start. You have to know how to start.
But in my experience, those type of things are just like you have to pick one area and work at it first, and then sort of move on. Because if you, tried. I understand like the social, issues, involved. But if you try to bite off all of that at one point, I think that's going to be a lot.
Yeah. So you have to know how to start. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, to cut it short, like, know how to start in one area, know what works, and then slowly. So you have to pick your target area, and then once you have a handle on that, then you can possibly move to other, maybe more complicated areas, if you see what I mean.
So like, my only question in your plan is, I'm not sure how wealthy you are or if you have a plan for this, but how do you financially plan to get the economy base in order to be able to move forward on your situation, if that makes sense?
I think I understand completely. That's very practical. It's first thing that anybody would think about. First of all, it's not my responsibility to save the world. Okay, um, and I don't think I can. But I think what the attitude should be is that, and pardon me for sounding a little corny, but I think in all fairness, you know, if this is going to work, it's not going to be one guy. It's going to be people pitching together. That's what it's going to come down to. And the attitude needs to be that people need to like help, not take. They have to have an attitude where they're willing to help. Okay, so some people that are just takers are not gonna want to participate. So you have to be, first of all, be aware of that. Second of all, the financial aspect is going to come from people. It's going to come from people who recognize that this is something worthwhile and they want to participate in it. And different people have different skills. Some are good at raising money. Some are good at planting coral, for example. You know what I mean? So, yep. And it's going to take shape as it goes along.
So, you said that some of these guys are homeless. So, like, those are the guys that might need a little bit of bump in order to become either a helper or become more willing to be educated to move on from being homeless to, hey, I'm willing to do work here, plant coral, and not be homeless anymore and buy my own stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Greek, non-fat.
Say that again?
So you said that.
No, the other person that commented it right after you.
Okay.
Somebody, anyway, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Am I going, Paul, or?
No, I'm just listening, mate.
Okay. So these guys that are homeless, they're the ones that you might need in your plan a little bit of economy or a little bit of bump to say, you know, hey, I could pay you $1 an hour or whatever it's worth to like have them move from their hut in order to help with your community plan that you have and plant coral or clean up the beach or, you know, not go fishing, just walking and stepping all over coral or things in that nature, I guess.
First of all, it depends on what area you're in because every area has a different dynamic. But I think there has to be some kind of advantage. You know, there has to be some advantageous aspects to whatever it is that you do. So in other words, if let's say we just clean up the beach, why is that good for them? You know, why would they want to, you know, what would motivate them, you know? So that would be the question, I think.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is that these homeless people, you can kind of motivate them with a little bit of money in order to like kind of help educate them to become more than just homeless. And then they can kind of help you in your plan. But you got to kind of maybe run it like a business, I guess we could probably say.
Yes, somewhat, but I wouldn't. That's why I've been here for 2 years, and I've been here just like lurking, you know.
Okay.
And looking and seeing what, you know, because before, look, I mean, you need to understand a culture before you take a step, or else you need to be very lucky in your endeavor. That's what, you know. So I think one thing is understanding the cultural mentality that exists here. So that's one. I wouldn't paint myself as a target as an ATM, you know. I'm not an ATM. Like I'm not going to paint myself hey, you know, that guy, you go just hang out, you're going to get some money from him because, you know, you'll clean up the beach. I don't really care about cleaning up the beach. I'm not really engaged. I just want some money, and you know, I'll make a half-hearted effort to clean up the beach. So it depends how, you know, it depends how you engage the people. I don't think
Yep.
I should be somewhere that they can go to get money. I think it should be profitable. I think they should engage because yes, maybe there is some livelihood to be made, but in a way that helps, you know, not in a selfish kind of I need some money, so just give me some money and I don't care, you know, like way. So I don't want to box your ears here with a 2-hour you know, I don't want to read a proposal out to you guys while we're online here, but so I'm kind of like making it very general, but
Yep.
I have a pretty good idea. Put it that way. I have a pretty good idea of how I'm gonna penetrate in there. So
I got you.
Just saying, you know.
Yeah. So as far as I know, the only ocean that is not dying now is in Belize. The Belize Ocean is doing greater than ever, and I believe
Ocean?
what
What ocean?
the reef, the Belizean coral reef. And the reason why it's doing so good, and I even talked to the people when I was there last year, is that they pretty much banned all kind of like commercial fishers and people that are kind of sneaking under the radar and taken out of there. They banned the eating of urchins. So like you can't go there and take out urchins out of the water. Parrotfish, you can't take out any kind of cleaning crew out of the water. Which that's what keeps their reef clean and basically thriving when other reefs are dying down and failing.
Well,
I'm all
the way on the other side of the world. You're talking about South America. I'm all the way on the other side of the world. I'm in the Philippines.
Yep.
So actually he's doing quite well here. It's not bad. Malaysia, Indonesia, not bad. Like Indonesia is still the best diving spot in the world. Like and Philippines is just a little north to the Indonesian islands. So yeah, it's fine here. Like it's very beautiful here, actually.
Nice.
So no problem with pollution right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like we want to keep it that way, right?
Well, I think where you're going is something that I already know.
Okay.
I will put it to you this way, and then you will say, "Rip, how do you know that?" You know, and you will tell me, you will argue with me. You will say, "Well, how do you know?" You know, so that's fine. I accept that. I'll own that. How do I know? And you can either take it or not take it. You know, but I think it's down to krill. Krill is the link in the chain. If it gets broken, it's the end of all life in the ocean.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you know that? How do you know that, Rip? Look, you know, take it or don't. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm here because I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, if I didn't think it was important, I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't be doing it. That's my answer to that. So,
oh yeah,
krill,
I mean, like the whole food chain itself is important.
Yeah. So once krill goes, okay, there's basically 5 years or maybe less, not maximum 5 years of life in the ocean. That's before there's actually no life in the ocean anymore. So, and that's a very big possibility of happening. If people don't know that, then it's okay, but I do. Does that answer your question, or does that come close to what you were thinking?
No, not really, but I
That's
do
the danger,
understand
anyway.
that.
That's the danger. So if krill
That
goes,
krill is
that's
definitely
it.
important.
That's it. We're done. And that can happen. And I think that will happen if we continue the way we're doing. In the next 10 years, that will happen, maybe less. So that's how I see it. So yeah, I'm pretty serious.
Yeah. So, is there any kind of substitute for krill?
No,
Or okay.
no. Krill are look very similar to freshwater ghost shrimp.
Yep.
That's what they look like. In case people don't know that, they actually eat them here. Like people eat them. They're called in Tagalog. They're called alaman, and they actually eat them. Like they make a paste out of it, and they
Wait, did you say Tagalog? Tagalog?
yeah Tagalog.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
the
what they
language.
speak here in
That's
the
the
Philippines.
language. That's the language my college professor. I told you my ex. I think I was mentioning the other day. Professor lives in Philippines.
Right.
Yeah, that's the language. I remember him sending me a message. I pronounced it Tagalog, but I guess you
Tagalog.
just gave
Tagalog. Yeah.
Tagalog. Gotcha. Yeah, he lives.
So wouldn't it just make a lot of sense just to ban importing or exporting of krill? I guess.
I was talking about the fisheries. First of all, ornamental fish is nothing. I will tell you. As much as bad as it is, it's really nothing in terms of taking out of the ocean. What's really damaging the oceans is food fishing. That you don't hear anything about that. It's so destructive. If you only knew.
Wait, which ones? Food fish?
Yeah, food like consumption for human consumption, like the food fish that we actually eat,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
and everything
yeah.
else, not only fish. Like,
oh yeah. Well, basically, our hobby takes like 1 in 100 million of the fish to our hobby compared to what we eat. So, and like 100 million, one fish will go to our hobby. The rest of them will go to someone's dinner plate.
yeah, it's extremely destructive what large scale food fishing is doing to the oceans. It's and you'll never stop that. It's big industry. I don't know even if I could. I'm not even trying to win. I'm just trying to land the punch, and so to speak. So I don't expect to win, but I'll do whatever I can.
Yep.
So just doing my do.
Where did Ash go? Ashley?
Y'all are so quiet. What happened now?
Ashley's not there. No, he's in the chat.
Just in the chat, man. I was having a good conversation with Ash about parasites.
Ash, I don't see the $sign on my iPad. Does it only show on the computer? Yeah, you can't do it off the Apple. You can only do it off computers or.
Where is he? So we were talking about parasites. We got to flatworms. What I try to do for flatworms is I try to do what do they call that? Where like you get a fish just in case if you get that problem. Is it like pre-maintenance or?
I've never had flatworms, so I don't know. Not in this system.
Well, basically, human beings do the same thing when we go to the doctor and we get a checkup. We go to make sure that there's no problem. What do you call that? Is it pre-maintenance?
You mean like a preventive?
Yeah. So that's what I do for a lot of pests. Is I do a lot of preventive things. Like I have a Spranger damsel. He will eat flatworms if for some reason they tend to enter my system.
You're being proactive.
Yeah, proactive. I have a velvet damsel. He will eat nudibranchs in case if they enter my system. I have a couple wrasse, I got like a black lapper wrasse that eats worms and stuff like that.
So you stock your tank based on functionality, not only show.
Yes, of course. A variety of things in your reef tank is the way to go instead of looking at something and go, ooh, that looks cool, and I just buy it, and it turns out to be a puffer fish that's going to eat everything and not help out.
That's what I do too, to a certain extent.
I got to check out your channel, man.
Sorry?
I said I have to check out your channel.
No channel, no, on that. There's no channel. Like, I am planning another channel where I'm going to show, you know, my progress in my project, but I'm not exactly there yet. But there will be another channel. Yeah. But
Okay.
This one, nothing on here. I haven't uploaded any videos. I'm thinking of actually joining the challenge, like the Nano Challenge.
That'd be kind of cool. From the Philippines, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh man, I got some awesome ideas.
Oh, wild collected reef.
Super chat. Big thumbs up to Ash.
Hey guys, I'm
Say
on
again?
mute because no, I said the wild collected reef. That'll be cool. I'm washing dishes, so I'm just gonna mute. All right.
All right.
Just that two dishes are something. Yeah, Ash, thank you very much for the super chat. Very much appreciated.
My tank just went through. My nano just went through the algae phase. Today I did like a 90% water change. Now it's ready for prime time.
Just give you an idea. Like I could, you know what barnacles are? I said this last time too, so I feel like I'm repeating myself here. But
Oh yeah,
I'm
send me
thinking
some
of
of
doing
those.
the entire back wall full of, like, just gluing them on, you know, full of barnacles.
Yeah, send me some of those.
They don't ship well.
I mean, like barnacles here, like you like as far as barnacles goes, or other things that are sea life, you really can't get here. Like you can't get barnacles. There's a bunch of worms I used to have 5 years ago that I've never even seen them again.
I think up in the Great Lakes where you are, some places they're like pests because they come in and they just ravage.
Yeah, they're pests in terms of, you know, if they stick to the hull of a ship, they need to be cleaned off. But it's actually quite nice. It looks like when you have them all, you know, neatly arranged, they look like pulsing xenia. They have like they're filter feeders, so they're like rowing the water.
Yeah, but there's some areas where they proliferate so much where there's no natural predators, so that's when they become a pest.
Well, I mean, anything becomes a pest in numbers, and anything is a pest to a ship, especially dealing with saltwater. Saltwater is corrosive. It will try to eat through the marine paint and steel. I guess that's just natural, I guess.
Yeah, but I would like to see a barnacle. That would be cool.
Anyway, it's something that you never see in Western tanks, like in your typical saltwater tank. You will never see that, right? So, like, I could put some orange sponge, old orange sponge, big orange sponge, just have it sitting, you know, something that's rarely seen. So, yeah, I could do something completely different here.
Yeah, how do you keep them alive? Is there filter feeders? Like, what do you feed them? I mean, I think the idea is cool, but what would you feed them to keep them alive?
The way I don't know if I don't even know if I should talk about this, but the way I'm doing is I'm just dosing salt water. I'm taking salt water and I'm dosing it in the tank so that you've got a phytoplankton and zooplankton in the water continually.
So you're basically just doing a water change with salt water?
Water. Think of it as not as a water change, but as a kind of a water change done, operated on like an auto top off. So it trickles in, it's dosed, trickles into the tank, but it's not changed instantly. You know, it's changed, but it's not changed instantly.
So how isn't your salt just keeps raising and raising and raising then?
No, you're adding to the volume of the system. You're not when you're doing that. You're adding to the way I do it. I add to the volume of the system because I'm getting like a 5-gallon jug, and I'm inverting it, and I'm just circulating the water at the opening of the bottle. So you're adding to the volume of the system. You're not necessarily changing the salinity. The freshwater top off is an entirely different operation, like not related to that. But you've consistently got a source of zooplankton, phytoplankton, zooplankton flowing into your system. So that's how that would live. You know, if you stop, like for example, I have live mussels in my tank. There's mussels all over the place.
Yeah.
So if there, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So say if I take a gallon of water and it's a gallon of salt water from the ocean and I dump that in my tank, how am I removing the salt out of my tank that I just dumped in?
No, you don't dump it in. You don't dump it in. What you do is, do you know how you have like a water bottle in your office where people drink from? That water fountain, not water fountain, but water dispenser?
Yeah, yeah.
So the bottle's inverted, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? That bottle is inverted, right? And then you go to get some.
It's upside down.
So, but it doesn't spill out, right? It stays in the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you did that with the opening of the bottle. You're inverted, okay, and you put the opening of the bottle full. It's completely full with no air inside there at all, and you invert it and you put it into your tank. You put it into your, let's say you put it into the sump area, and then but it doesn't get out. The water doesn't come rushing out because the opening of the bottle is below the surface of the water in the sump. So actually what you've just done is you've just added volume to your tank, to your total water volume. Okay. You see what I mean? So it's not rushing out. It's staying in the bottle, okay? Because it can't, because there's no water pressure to push it out. So it's staying in, it's inverted and it's staying, but now that bottle is connected to your sump. Rip, all the best. Your Project Narcosis. Good talk as well. Ash is taking off. See you, Ash.
I got it.
All right, Ash, talk to you later, buddy.
Rip, I understand. So, that's actually a smart ass way to do it. And if you live, just taking a gallon every day.
So the lip of the opening of the bottle is under the water, and then if you had some kind of circulation, like a pump, just pushing the water, at that point, it would slowly mix into your system, right? Because it wouldn't come out all at once. It would mix itself with the system volume of water slowly.
Okay.
Yeah, hydrostatic, exactly. I believe it's hydrostatic. Yeah. So water wants to mix itself.
Yeah, but when that bottle is empty and you need to refill it,
it won't ever be empty. It won't ever be empty. But what you're alluding to is that when the contents of what's in the bottle get thoroughly mixed in the system.
Wait. So you actually take that bottle back off your system full?
Yeah.
I do. I take it off full.
Okay, now you're making sense. Okay, now you're making sense. If it remains full the entire time, you're just doing a water change of a gallon.
It's dosing the phytoplankton without emptying the water into the system. Maybe that's a better way to explain it.
Yep. Yep. So basically,
you
you're
have-
doing
you
a gallon of
have-
water
you-
change.
You have a continual source of ocean water that is interacting with the system. I don't need to dose. Why? Why would I want to do? Why? What? So what? Who cares about that? Why? Because I don't need to dose calcium. I don't need to dose alkalinity. I don't need to add salt. I don't need to do anything. It's another method of salt water on tap, right? Salt water on tap instead of circulating my system. Just get a tap, run a pipe to the beach, turn on the tap, and drain back to the ocean. Salt water on tap. It's a little complicated, so you know what? Just go grab a 5 gallon jug and invert it. It's enough. It's enough for 3 or 4 days. Take it off, put another one on. Continually adding, nutrients to the water, and seawater, natural saltwater aquarium.
Yep.
That's how I do it. So I don't know if people agree with that or like it, but that's how I do it, and it works for me. So I have the ocean right here. Why wouldn't I do that? It'd be silly to go make synthetic salt water when I have natural salt water with everything in it available to me. Like
here's something for
that's
you.
my logic.
Here's something for you. You can automate your system by hooking up a piece of PVC all the way to the ocean and having one come all the way back to your fish tank.
That's what I'm saying. Salt water on tap. But it's not necessary to do that. It's not even necessary for me to do that. I can easily just go get but I might do that. I might have some kind of system like that when I get into a large culture of krill. Now I'm doing a very small krill culture, just to see how it works. But when I do large scale krill culture, okay, I'll probably do that.
So basically, that's the same thing that all of the clam dispensaries do. They just farm off the ocean. They basically house their clams in tanks and in the ocean, and they just run ocean water in and ocean water out.
Well, taking a step further, if you're serious about coral replanting, then there will have to be some kind of system that exists like that, right? To be able to have coral available, coral frags available. Because you need coral frags, and you will also need to do sexual reproduction of coral, right? So that's, that's all in the works.
So there is a scuba diver. I don't remember his name, but he goes down and he visits this man-made reef that they made with like racks and stuff. His name is Johnny something. Let me look him up. He's really cool. He's a really cool scuba diver and pretty funny.
Haven't heard of him, but just listening.
I'm gonna look him up real quick so I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have done their own projects. There's a guy in Palau. He did a talk on Macna last time. Palau is very close here. He's breeding. I forget the name of the fish, but they are.
Coran angels.
They eat coral. The coral crunchers. What is it? Parrotfish.
Parrotfish.
He's culturing parrotfish, and they're using that as a food fish for the natives, the native people of Palau, the indigenous people of Palau. Yep. And so they are learning to culture those fish in the ocean, actually, as a food fish. And he's also studying fish spawning, and he's doing that on multiple species. I forget his name. His name is Tom something. But he moved there with his wife, and he started that project years ago. So there's other people who have done it also, But there's a lot of other people who have done projects like this, gone to another country and started some kind of project. There's another guy who years ago was the, many moons ago, was the primary exporter of live rock when the aquarium, when the saltwater hobby, I think like 15 years ago, I think something like that. I can't remember his name, but he also did that. He moved out here. I think he moved to Fiji and he started exporting Fiji rock.
Jonathan Bird is the guy's name. The scuba
Is it?
diver.
Okay.
Jonathan Bird with the Blue World. He goes down and he does like scuba diving. He shows like a gigantic clam and he shows like a man-made reef. Basically, they're like remaking a reef, like trying to preserve it, There's a bunch of cool videos. They're mostly like educational.
Rocks don't really work so well for artificial reef. Cement is better, but I know what you mean.
The what doesn't work?
Metal rocks don't work that well for rebuilding a reef.
Oh yeah, I mean like coral don't really grow the greatest.
But I know what you're trying to. Yeah, I know what you're trying to point out. I see your point.
I was thinking that they did like racks just for like until it got coralline on it, and then coral would grow on top of like coralline or whatever, or like crusting or whatever. Basically, it was probably just like the easiest way to move a structure there, build a structure without it being super duper heavy.
You can do it. You can do it multiple ways. You can move blocks into the small blocks that are light enough to carry into the ocean.
Yep.
Or you can make a large piece of cement with a lot of holes in it and use a crane to lower it into the ocean. One large piece or lots of little pieces. So
isn't that there's a company called Living Reefs where when you die, you can have one of these reefs, maybe your ashes sprinkled when they make one of the big concrete blocks you mentioned. Yeah. And you can actually have your name on it and have it put somewhere, so you actually become part of rebuilding the reefs. I think there's a company called
down the line, I was actually thinking down the line, it might be cool if there was an option for people in the West, like in Canada and the US or even the UK or Australia, to actually come down and participate in rebuilding the reef as a part of their vacation, So you dive, you're not only looking, you're actually participating in the project.
Heck yeah. Tourism, man.
I just posted that video in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Hey, sorry,
hey, what's up?
Not much. I gotta skip out because I had to go check out something on the computer. So anyways, I just logged back in to say good night, everybody. Nice talking to you guys.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. Great chat tonight.
Yeah, man, great chat. Had really good fun. And hey, thanks for sharing the knowledge about the Anactis, man. That was well worth listening. And Rip, all the very best for your project, buddy.
Yeah, man. Day by day.
Prayers, buddy.
Step at a time.
Peace. Yeah, man.
Later,
Take it
brother.
easy. Ciao.
Nice, Sandy. Have a good night. I'm gonna be going to bed here soon myself.
I'm going to bed now. So
it's 12 o'clock here, so I gotta head out. I gotta be somewhere right after lunch. It's 12:15, so I got maybe 15 or 20 more minutes in here, and then I gotta go.
What I'll do, I'll shut it down. I'll shut it down, but I'll keep the hangouts open. So you can still chat away in the hangouts. I think in the hangouts anyway.
I like when I'm able to, personally, I like it when I'm able to come online, and I see somebody's got a live chat going. It's kind of fun. So you and Rico, are the two main guys that I see.
It's good.
Yo, Rip, are you subbed to me?
I should actually. I've been negligent with that. I've been like really. I should be sub to everybody actually.
Oh, narcosis, the sub. Come on, narcosis.
All right, hold on.
I think I'm at 100. Yeah. Pretty soon, I pretty much dedicated myself that I need to start making more videos and doing more for my channel and doing more for the actual reef hobby.
One second, Narcos. I'm just going to stop the